All right, we are live. What's going on, everybody? Look who we have here.
Yeah.
We got Russell, the Mad Watch Collector. What's up, Russell?
Well, it's a pleasure to be here, Matt. It's a pleasure to be here.
Pleasure to have you, sir.
Thank you very much, man. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, and it's 8 p.m. at night at sunny old England, and for you it is 3 p.m.
Yes, sir.
Very, very nice. Yes. So you've had your afternoon tea, or
I
have. You've had your Mountain Dew. That's what you've had.
That's what it is.
Oh, what we got? I didn't even know. I did not even notice it. I thought, gotta have the Mountain Dew. He's in.
Love it. Love it. So
That's
thanks
cool.
for joining me
That's
on
a
this.
pleasure.
I have to say, guys, I have to apologize. I messed this one up. I did not advertise this one. We're kind of
It was a secret. A
secret little, let me see, to pull this thing up, secret little chat there. And so what I guess what I want to ask you is, what is next for you? What are you doing big on your channel?
Well, I mean, as the shows, I'm very privileged to have, close, just past the 2,000 subscriber mark. I'm starting to get a lot more companies saying, yes, we will lend you a watch now. So
Congratulations on that.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah, and congratulations on you reaching past your 1,000, which is awesome. Very good. I'm getting. I didn't actually do many emails to companies before, as you have to have some sort of presence. You do have to have a presence, and then you do it. And
yes.
It's helped having the likes of TGV from the Urban Gentry and Jody at Just One Watch to have bagged those big high profile bad boys.
Yes. Congratulations on that. Those were great too. Those guys.
Yeah.
Especially Jody. What a nice guy. I mean,
top guy. Yeah. I mean, they've just been both really nice and really supportive of the channel and to give up their time. And I know they get probably messages every 3 minutes about doing this sort of thing. And to have picked a little channel from England, I was well chuffed, Matt.
Oh,
anyway, sorry, I'm going off on a tangent, Matt, aren't I?
No.
Yeah. So it's just that I've been fortunate enough to work with the jewelers. That's from Instagram, which is really good. That's where I've just done my Seiko 62 mass, the SPB 143 diver. Yes. I did that thanks to them. They sent it in for me to review, which is awesome. Bremont, the amazing brand Bremont, British brand, very proud. They actually, Bremont, the company, sent me a broadsword, which is brilliant. So I'm just starting to sort of get not acceptances from companies. I'm just starting to ask, do you have a look at my YouTube channel, would you? And there's some people like it, and would you like to send a watch over? And at the minute it's been yes, which has been great. And I can only imagine, Matt, what the likes of 30, 40, 50,000 subscribers channels get when they got so many watches backed up. Yeah. I mean, I we both have a smaller channel, but I've got about 6 or 7 watches lined up. It's ridiculous. And I know that there's a couple more going to come in next week, and they might be bumped up in the list or in the middle of the list or whatever. And you don't know what, from one week to the next, you might get another watch in, and that's just part of the fun. It's part of the fun of it anyway. So I did an awesome 3-watch collection, a land, sea and air collection. My Rolex Explorer, my Tudor Black Bay 58 and my Sin 104. I love those watches, and I thought I'd get a little 3-watch collection going with them. And I've decided to do a part 2 and a part 3 of that. So I'm going to do an affordable, more affordable 3-watch collection, land, sea and air, and then on a budget land, sea and air collection. So I'm looking forward to them as well, mate. Yeah. What about you? What you got coming? Come on now.
Same thing with you. I'm just starting to get a few. I was reluctant to reach out, like you said, reach out to companies because I feel like I didn't have enough clout or enough subscribers or enough.
Yeah.
So I was hesitant to reach out for companies. I've actually only got now the Watch Chris channel. Let me back up a bit. What you were talking about with you couldn't imagine how many watches you get. He is about to hit 10,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
I was talking to him last night. He is so slammed with watches. I mean, he puts out a video a day just about. And he is just inundated with watches. He can't keep up. Random Rob, I've heard him say the same thing. Struggle, and he's pushing 50. And so, right, you're correct. It just gets more busy from here. But that's a good problem to have. It's better than not getting anybody, So I'm just doing the same thing. I have about 6 videos waiting, things in various stages of editing. I've said this before. I don't know if you're like this. I have very limited time between working and family, and then with the kids running around the house making noise, I tend to film at night. And I tend to film as many as I can, 4 or 5. If I got 4 or 5 watches, I knock them all out.
Cool.
And I'll space out the releasing. So I got that going on. I think I have a couple of watches coming in from some companies, and just doing the grind, just grinding on, improving the background.
Yes, cool.
Mix it up with the channel, change a few things.
I think that's the thing. We all do it, and we're all doing it. We're all learning as we're going, and we're all improving as we're going. You can see it all around. And it's good. It's great. It's great to see. I mean, when I talk about a watch, I like to talk about the brand. I like to talk about the history. What they've done, and it's to my own downfall really that I can't just do five watches in a night, and it just doesn't work. I need it to process in my brain the research and everything that I take in, because I would end up talking gobbledygook, Matt. I have to. So if I film on a Monday, I'll film on a Monday. I'll do my research on the weekend in the evenings. I'll film on the Monday, do all the segments, because I've got all sorts of segments.
Your videos are a lot more complicated.
And then I shall edit on the Monday, finish on the Tuesday night, and then that goes out on a Wednesday. Meanwhile, I'm shooting the Wednesday video and getting that ready for Friday. So at the minute, I mean, I'm not working. I'm a tennis coach. I own a tennis coaching business, and we're at lockdown, and all the tennis clubs are locked, so we can't get anything. So
man,
what I could just sit down in front of the telly and eat all day, or I could be proactive and use my creativity that I love to use, get the juices flowing, and get some shows out for some people that might want to watch it, Matt.
Absolutely. And people do. You're getting a good response. You have a great channel.
Thank you, man.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing too. Your videos they're awesome. I love them. I notice it's funny when you do this type of thing, you don't actually notice what goes into it until you do it. And with you doing different segments on certain things, that's all editing. That's all stuff you have to film at different times and run it on together. So it takes a lot of work. Whereas I'll keep it, I want to mix it up a bit. But I'll, go in and research the watch.
Yeah.
Make a list of, that's another thing that'll take me, depending on the watches, an hour or so, whatever it is. Make bullet points of specs and features, things I like, stuff on there. And then just try to knock them out. And I try to trim down the stuff, although I think I want to go the different direction and add a little bit more stuff to my videos. But
I mean, if you have a format like if you've got a random Rob format, which is hands, just one shot of the hands,
that's it.
And then it's what he's known for, and what he does.
He does it great too.
Yeah. But that's how he can churn out bang, 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 show after show, because he could literally put that watch down and then start a new video.
Yes.
And he could probably do 5 or 6 when he gets home from work, which is probably what he does.
It probably does. He has no intros, no outro,
no
graphics really.
It just shows you don't need it.
You don't need it. You don't. It works perfect for him. Although I don't think it would work perfect for you or I. It's just
Yeah.
that's what kind of makes it all great, because if everything was Random Rob or TGV or Jody, it wouldn't work.
No,
So
exactly. No,
it's
you're absolutely right. Yeah, I mean, formats are different with everyone. That's what makes the world go round, and that's what, if you're buying a watch, you do not just watch one review. It doesn't matter what the format of the review is, whether it's just a tabletop review.
Yep.
You know, to get the likes of our opinions on watches, and to get a eclectic take on it. That's what I do when I buy a watch. I look at 5 or 10 reviewers, and then and then make my opinion after that, you know.
Because some of the watches are in different tastes. Some of the videos out there, I'm sure you've probably seen these when it comes to watches. They're maybe a minute and a half, and it's just somebody doing a wrist roll. No sound, no speaking, no editing. And I don't particularly like that. I look at it and I see it visually. That's great. But what is it? Give me your opinion so I can, I think it helps people be more informed.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. You're absolutely right. I mean, to be honest, my show came out of lockdown, and I was a little bit bored with the reviews I was watching. That was all it was. And no matter how good or how informative they were, and they were very intelligent guys, they know their stuff, but it just didn't keep me watching. Yeah, I mean, I'm into quick snaps entertainment. That's me personally, and we're all different. And I wanted to take mundane not mundane, but could be quite bogged down situations, like a time grapher.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? And turn it into something that nobody has ever done.
Right.
Maybe for a reason, and just to have a bit of fun with it, and to make grown men watch a spoon talk about how good a watch is doing just makes me chuckle a bit. I've just seen the comments, Matt. Sorry, Terry's here. Nice to see you, Terry.
Yep. Hello, Terry.
Terry's here. Peter, nice to see you, Peter, and Scott. And we've got Justin EDC. Very nice. Very nice. Matt's got the Mountain Dew.
Got the Mountain Dew.
I've got the English H2O.
Oh, nice. How is the water in England? Probably very similar to the water here in America.
Well, yeah, it's very hard where we live. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's horrible. It's probably scaling up my clogs already.
It's the same thing. I agree with you. I don't want to say that some of it is a boring topic, or it can be very sterile. Maybe that's a word, that some of the watch reviewers can be very sterile and serious and proper, and and I'm a gentleman and I like time, and some people don't like that. I was like, come on, I want a little bit of goofiness with the watches. Your channel does that great. I try to throw in a little bit of humor here and there, but your channel kills it with that. It's entertaining. The Casio corner, the Seikos, all that kind of stuff. I gotta put a watch in for that too. So
you do, mate. You do. Yeah. So the other thing that I wanted to do with my channel is to make it like people felt part of it. They obviously, it wasn't just me telling about the watch and stuff. They were tuning in to see a subscriber or a follower that wants to, that might have tagged me in to see whether they're on that, and they're a part of the show. And I like the fact that I've got 70 shows I've done, and 60, maybe 50 shows I've had Casio Corner, maybe 40. But they've been special because they've got these individual people tagging me in on their shows, on their posts, and there's just an individual little snippet of their life with their watch, and I love that. I absolutely love that, Matt.
No, it's excellent. It was a brilliant idea. I wish I would have thought of it. But
well, the only thing I have with the analytics and stuff, you can see that for people that just want to see the watch, they'll skip. They will skip. But what the way that I want to do my shows is, I want people to come to my show because it's like your favorite sitcom. It's like your favorite show that comes out every week. It doesn't matter what watch I'm reviewing. You stay because it's the Mad Watch Collector show. This is what I want. This is what I want. I want, even though you don't like the watch, even though you're not into digital or you're not into a dive watch, you're going to stay on and watch, and just watch, the opinions of a madman talking. And there are going to be fun segments in there just to have a bit of fun with, So that's why I do it.
No, that's it's excellent. That's But you're right. I notice a lot of people that don't do YouTube or channels don't know about the whole analytics thing. You can see exactly where people are skipping. That's one of the reasons you guys might see a few more videos with that little introduction I have with the funny faces I put on, like Scarface, but I think I'm going to phase that out. That was 2020, and I'm going to start doing something different because
Yeah.
honestly, you go into it and you see it. People will go when they watch it enough, they get used to go skip right to it, and
Yeah.
right into the
Yeah.
review
Yeah.
a lot of times. And so, and that's not so much fun, like you said. You have a fun channel. I like them to be a lot more fun and bubbly and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I get it. Some people are serious and they just want, I want specs and features, and I want the.
Oh yeah.
And that's it. And, so.
Yeah, people are entitled to that.
Right.
100%. And there are many, many, many reviewers out there that can do that for you.
Yes. But also one thing I've noticed, I don't know if you've noticed this, my friend, that the specs and features aren't always. Sometimes you might have a watch that doesn't fit your personal specs and features. You're like, might be a little big, but then you get it in hand or you get on the wrist and you're like, it works.
Yeah, absolutely.
So sometimes you got to get that watch. Well, not sometimes. A lot of times, if you want a real opinion of that watch, you got to get it in your hand. You got to get it on your wrist, and you have to wear it for a couple weeks to see exactly what you think about it. Because I've looked at watches, I'm like, that's too thick, or that's too big, or looks too small, and then I put it on. Seiko Alpinist is a perfect example.
Yeah,
I think too small for me. But I
really,
and I'm like, no, this watch is great.
Oh, yeah, very nice, very nice. No, you are absolutely right. There's many watches that I've had. The Seiko Arni reissue, the SNJ 025. It is a huge watch, but the magic of Seiko and how they can make a big watch fit on a small man's wrist or any wrist, is incredible. And it's only got lugs that are 49 lug to lug, and I put it on and I thought, crikey, you know what? I don't look like I'm wearing my dad's favorite watch. I'm actually wearing this, and I'm doing it. I'm rocking it well, and definitely the likes of when I got a Sin 104 in. I knew I wanted the watch, but I wasn't sure of the size. It was 41 millimeters. Put it on, and it was a match made in heaven for my wrist. And you're absolutely right. We can say something about the watch if we haven't seen it, but you truly don't know. We know about specifications, and we've tried enough watches on, Matt, to know, what a 12 mil thick watch is going to fit. But it's something different. It's just a watch can be a completely different character on your wrist, So yeah, I'm with you on that.
100%. Look, Bobby Legs is in here.
Bobby Legs.
Watch Chris. Josh, what's up, Josh?
Watch Chris. He hasn't got time. He hasn't got time to watch a live chat.
Yeah.
I bet you he's got us on the side.
Yep.
With the sound down, and he's talking about some sort of Tissot or something. Yeah. No, he's a hard-working man.
Yeah, he's cranking them out.
I love Mr. America. What a name that is, Matt. Right. Eh? I might change my name to Mr. England. I might be related to Johnny English, so I might just not do that. But
yeah. Here's one I just popped into my head. Crazy thought. Since we're getting crazy here, what is with English football players and Hublot, man? What is Hublot? Hublot must be just giving them free watches.
I don't know. Oh yeah, it's exactly it.
Aston Martins and Hublots. Those are English footballers things.
Yeah, absolutely. Even when I, used to be in a band that did pretty well, we were given stuff. We were given Ray-Bans at festivals. We were given Hunter Welly boots. We were given stuff, and and it's what really annoys me, Matt, is that people with money don't often buy the stuff. They're given the blooming things. That's what annoys me.
Yeah.
But obviously they can take that Hublot and stick it where the Hublots don't shine.
Oh, speaking of bands, so what style of band? I mean, what style of music was it that? Because as you can see, I've been in many bands, and mine was more of a heavy metal or type of rock, like that type of stuff. Was yours more like an Oasis style or
when I first started writing, when I was 18, 19, it was Oasis, I'm a Beatles fan at heart. That's Beatles.
Yeah.
I'm a Paul McCartney songwriting. He's my idol. But yeah, so it was Beatles and Oasis. But it got more towards the 2000s. It was more Killers. So it was more electro indie. So it was indie, but electro with, you know, synthesizers and all sorts of stuff. And then I got out of that and then wanted a more natural sound. And I've just started to get back into more of a bandy type sound. But yeah, it was when we were on the scene. When I was on the scene, it was indie, electro indie. But yeah,
Very cool.
no, it was cool. It was cool at the time.
And then you have kids and all that kind of stuff, and it, you know, don't got
mortgage
anymore. Mortgage. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, life catches
up. Comes out, mate.
So true. So true. So.
Watch Chris Hublot gives them watches.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Definitely, absolutely.
Bobby Lake said Slayer. I saw them in DC with Megadeth and
oh my word!
I saw them in DC with, let's see, it was Overkill, Megadeth, Slayer, and somebody else. I forget who else it was. Yeah, it was that American heavy metal man. But well, I mean, British metal. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Have you ever not so much into that stuff?
No, not so much.
I must before, obviously.
Oh yeah, 100%. I've heard of it. And if someone was to play one of those songs with an acoustic guitar, I would probably think, yeah, that's quite good.
That's cool.
I'm a songwriter and a melody maker at heart, and I'm all about the song and the vocal, and then the music being the accompaniment, whereas maybe the guitars are and I don't have the skill for that, Matt. I'm a rhythm guitar player, and that's how I write the songs. I haven't got the skill of the I haven't got that.
Well, again, it takes all kinds, just like, you know, just like watch channels.
I mean, Bobby Legs says Iron Maiden, and my brother listened to Iron Maiden, and there was some really nice stuff, some nice, you know, some nice calm stuff, and then that sort of stuff, and I'll skip, and then it's a nice one again, la la la, skip, la la la. There's about 2 or 3 on an album that I would think are very good.
Yeah. For me, it was Def Leppard. That's who.
Oh yeah,
Leppard was that was the band back in the day for me, mid to late 80s and all. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, they were great. You know what though? We haven't done a wristwatch check, please.
We haven't, mate. We haven't. I am wearing my my Laurier Gemini.
Very nice.
Yeah, I love this thing. Very thin.
Yes.
It's got a Seagull ST19 movement in it, which I absolutely love that movement in it. You know, it's not your high horology, but it is very thin. It's a very thin case, and I've got a Seagull 1963, and I love that.
I had those. As a matter of fact, I sold that to Justin. I think bought that.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well, I just love this watch. It's the Panda style, like 60s. Sort of Panda style. I didn't want to get the black or white or the white or black because, you know, obviously you'll be thinking about Rolex when you do that, I think. So I wanted a nice blue color, and I'm a blue fan. You're about to show off something blingy, aren't you? Come on now.
Well, I haven't taken it off.
There he is.
Yeah.
There he is. Has he got a padlock on the clasp, hasn't it?
Haven't taken it off yet.
You wouldn't. I don't think I would last 4 minutes walking out my road with that thing on, my friend. That's very nice, isn't it? Very nice.
You own a Rolex, you know.
I do. Yeah, I do. Very understated. I mean, the Explorer. Yeah, it goes back to my grandfather and
fantastic watch.
I love it. I do love it. Yeah, I do love it, and I don't wear it enough, but it's there to make memories, and I want it to make memories, you know, and so I can pass it down to my little one. I love Rolex. I really love Rolex. They've been indoctrinated. They've been in my brain ever since I was young. Obviously, I'm a tennis coach, so I was into tennis and Wimbledon, and you know, Rolex was heavy in Wimbledon and James Bond. And if you've seen any of my shows, you'll know I'm a Roger Moore fan from that era, and he wore a Submariner, obviously, and the Rolex Explorer my granddad owned. He had a 60s Explorer. So that 60s Explorer and the Submariner, the black dial,
Yep.
you know, just clean, very, very, very awesome watch. And for me, they're just amazing. They're just
I'm
amazing.
glad that you admit that Roger Moore is your James Bond, my friend, because that is my James Bond. Because
Yeah.
in James Bond world, that's blasphemy.
I
If
know.
you don't say
I
Sean
know.
Connery,
I know.
you're kicked off the island.
Yeah.
You know
I
what I
know.
mean?
You
are. And outside, you're like, but I didn't grow up with Sean Connery. I mean, I like him. I think he probably is, but Roger Moore was
definitely. I mean, looking back at Roger Moore's films, is obviously he's not the hardest one of the set, but it just holds back so many memories. Like, well, I got these things behind me in here, and the memories of Roger Moore, Jaws. I mean, he's got to be one of the best baddies ever. I mean, you know.
Well, he had that. It was a Lotus, I think, a white Lotus that turned into a submarine.
The submarine, yeah. Oh, yeah. He had some great. He had some great stuff, and he had most of the gadgets.
Yes.
Really, didn't he? I think that's why, as a kid, I love Roger Moore so much, because him and Q, you know, Q didn't love him at all. Q doesn't love James Bond, but yeah, the amount of gadgets and and it was amazing how many different watches he had, other than Rolexes. I never realized until I looked closer. He had a Pulsar, he had Seikos, he had everything. You know, I know it's Cubby Broccoli trying to make some money off the shows, trying to sponsor the show, the producers of the show back in the days. But I bake because James Bond, he comes from the Royal Navy, and he would have had a mil-spec sub. You know, that's what it would be. And the 5513 is a great reference for James Bond. I've got a CWC, which is a Cabot watch company, which superseded Rolex in the contract for making Royal Navy mil subs. So really, in 1980 onwards, Roger or James Bond should have been wearing a CWC watch, really, and not a Timothy Dalton Tag Heuer.
That's right. Watch Chris said Pierce Brosnan was the worst. Nah, I don't know. I think Dalton was. I think Dalton did what? Did he just do one movie?
I think he did two. He did Living Daylights and License to Kill.
Yeah.
I think Pierce is my. If you close your eyes and think of the best James Bond, Pierce Brosnan. He's got the looks.
Yes.
He's got a little bit more mobility than Roger. Yeah. Just a little bit more, because Roger was still doing James Bond when he was 50.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And and I think Pierce is probably the best looking James Bond, and that's what Ian Fleming surely had in his brain.
Of course.
Of a Pierce Brosnan.
Oh, my mother loved Pierce Brosnan, James Bond. Yeah. You know, she was when she found out he was going to be James Bond, she was like, yes. You know. So I think you're right. I think he picked it for the ladies. I think it was a pick. That one was a pick for the ladies.
Yeah.
But it's funny to go back and look at those movies talking about the James Bond stuff and the watches. I never really paid much. I mean, I knew they had like cool saws and like lasers and shoot springs out and you know, wires and all kinds of cool gadgets on the watch. But I mean, when you're a kid, you didn't know what heck any of that stuff was. At least I didn't. And then I go back now and I'm like, ooh, what are they wearing? What is it? What reference? Yeah. You know?
I mean, Roger had, I can't remember, I think it was Octopussy, but he had the first TV watch, the Seiko TV watch. Mm-hmm. And I was just absolutely obsessed with getting one of those when that came out. And obviously it worked so well. He had it zoomed in on a lady's bosom.
Right.
And that wasn't the reason why, because, you know, I was 9.
Right.
But still, the picture was so good on it. But in reality, the picture was crappy. It was like green lines. Yep. But just to have, I still don't think you can get a decent television watch. You know, the iWatch, I don't know if it can do Netflix shows or it can do.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't.
Do you know what I mean? I still don't think they've mastered an awesome TV watch. But the other funny thing was with that Seiko TV watch is it had to be hooked up to a battery pack that was bigger, like that was huge, that you needed a Batman utility belt for it to hang on, and then you had to have you had to have the headphones on to listen to anything, and it, you know, it did spoil it for me when I researched it. But yeah, I didn't. GoldenEye, Mr. America says about GoldenEye, yeah, that's probably the best Pierce for me, because after then it gets a bit silly on the Pierce Brosnan stuff. But yeah, GoldenEye, yes,
GoldenEye.
What's your best James Bond theme tune? Here we go. That's a big one, isn't it? What would be your favourite?
I don't know.
Mine is definitely Live and Let Die, obviously, because I'm a Macca fan, and that was the first Roger film. I love it.
Mm-hmm. I think Guns N' Roses redid that song.
Yeah, they did. They did.
Okay,
They did. Yeah.
No, that's a good choice. That's a good choice. I think I would. Yeah, I'd probably have to go with that one too. That's good. I haven't. What speaking of James Bond, and then we'll move on to something else. I don't know what. I really haven't gotten into the new guy. I saw
Daniel Craig.
Daniel Craig. What do you think about him?
I'm not. I haven't really been into it. I really liked the first one, Casino Royale. No, yeah, Casino Royale.
Oh, yeah.
I really liked that one. That was really good. It showed a fragility to a Bond that we'd never seen before. You know, he almost died.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he gets beaten up and bruised, and he's there padding his bruised face. And I love this the sort of realness of it. I know that Bourne Identity had just come out at that sort of time. And the fighting scenes are much more real, and they did that really well. But now Daniel's got to be pushing 50 something.
Yeah,
the sort of maneuvers that he'll be doing is just not realistic enough, really. And yeah, I mean, he did have a good bod on him. You can't knock that. But I don't think he's a Bond. He's not a Bond in my eyes.
True. What do you think about the Bond watch, the Omega, the new one? They put the gold, not the GoldenEye one, or the
patina.
Yes,
yeah, that I really like it. I do quite like it. I have to say that I did not. I don't like the Seamaster that much, because it's such a huge watch with a not needed helium escape valve that is the same size as the Crown or bigger to that you need to operate a watch in. But I know that it's got the look, and it's a 300-meter diver, isn't it? I think it's a 300.
It is.
300-meter diver. It's a proper diver. The only thing is, when I was growing up in the 90s, I always thought with the bracelet, the Pierce Brosnan watch, I thought it was a bit of a dad's watch. Mm-hmm. I thought it was a bit blingy. I thought it was and I didn't really like it. But the new one with the black dial, and the things with Omega, that they don't mind changing up their styles, do they? Mm-hmm. They don't mind changing their looks of such a massive Seamaster. This is the Seamaster, you know. Whereas Rolex will change maybe a millimeter,
tiny little. But hey, we changed it. They go, we changed it. Look.
Yeah, I know.
You hear about people who put the two together, and they're like, "Where? I can't see it. What are you talking about?"
Yeah, exactly. But you know, it's incredible. It's incredible what Rolex has built over the years. You know, from the 20s, the 30s, the 40s. And, you know, we all think about what they are is this style thing that fashionistas, you know, wear and stuff. But Rolex, they almost earned it because of their, you know, being connected to special people. They were very clever, very clever. You know, the Milgauss that you've got special Milgauss. I mean, that was given to specific top scientists to work with anti-magnetic stuff, you know, proper laboratories. You know, you've got what's his name, Tenzing Norgay and Sir Edmund Hillary. You know, no one had ever summited Mount Everest, and this is the watch that celebrates that. And if you think you're a man, do you? Well, you ain't a man unless you've got one of these on you. You know what I mean? And then you've got Paul 100%. Newman, you've got big actors. You know, it was the people that were doing amazing stuff, you know, feats of human ability, and then it trickled down to presidents and prime ministers like Churchill and that had date justs and stuff like that, and then actors and actresses, you know, were caught wearing, well, if it's good enough for these people, it's good enough for me. Right. And then we buy into this thing, and the one thing at the start, it's a bloody good watch. They're
That's what I was
very,
about to say.
yeah.
It
I
would
mean,
fall apart like a house of
yeah.
cards.
Oh,
So people that say to me, it's oh, Rolex is all hype. I have to disagree, respectfully disagree,
yeah,
because they are
yeah,
fantastic
yeah,
watches.
yeah,
And to your point, if it wasn't that good, you have to have the product has got to be on point. It has got
yeah.
to be good
Mm.
before you, because you can do all that marketing you want and it'll fall apart once people say, no, these are junk, and the real reviews or opinions get out there.
Hell yeah, yeah. I completely agree with that, my friend. And yeah, I mean, it's just it's amazing what Rolex can do. You know, once you buy a Rolex, I mean, how many things can you buy that once you've bought it and you've taken it out of the shop, does it go up in price? I mean,
I know.
what the heck? I mean, you think of anything else in the
Yeah.
world, there's nothing. There is
No.
nothing you can get. Apart from maybe silver or precious metals you can walk out with that maybe will hold their value. But we don't know that. The stocks go up and down. Rolex just continues to gradually go up. It's like people are buying Rolexes. You know, you see some people buying Rolexes for investments because they're more of a sure thing than gold or silver. It's incredible.
It
Absolutely
is.
incredible
It's
stuff.
really, and when
Yeah,
coronavirus hit, I heard a lot of people saying, "Well, that's it. The Rolex bubble's going to pop." It got
yeah.
worse. It got,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the watches got harder to pick
Mm,
up. I guess they figured with the pandemic, everybody was going to hold on to the assets they had and kind of sit back and wait. But now it's gotten even harder and more expensive in some cases to get
yeah,
certain Rolexes.
yeah,
So
yeah,
they
yeah,
are.
yeah,
I know they're expensive, but they are fantastic watches. They
yeah,
really are.
yeah. I mean, if you've never tried, if you've never had one in your hands, then make the judgment after you've had one in your hands, because from the feel of one to the weight of one to the manipulating of the crowns to the winding of the crowns to operating the handset, from the bracelet and everything else, it's something completely different to anything else in my collection. And it stands out a mile away. It really does. And for a watch, if you just look at it as a watch, compared to, I've got, this amazing, I absolutely love this Pilot Pioneer. This is a
Mhm.
beautiful watch. I love this watch. Um, uh, but you can tell the differences
You can. You can.
massively.
And
Yeah.
a lot of those watches, I guarantee if you talk to the people that created those watches or make them, they're not making them to compete with Rolex, or not saying they're a Rolex, but
No.
they're from top way up here, like the APs and the Vacherons, all the
Yeah.
way down to the Chinese watches, or the watches that are $2-3 a piece that aren't really worth it. You got to fill in all those spaces for
Oh
people.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And those micro brands, man, do they offer great value for money. Great
Yeah.
value for money.
I mean, that in terms of value, they offer so much, but you should never buy a microbrand watch for resale, or thinking, is this going to depreciate, because that doesn't happen with microbrands at all. Doesn't matter what's the engine inside. It's clear. It's, you're invested into the microbrand, and you love the people that's doing it, and you love their story, just like L'Oreal. I love the
Mhm.
story behind L'Oreal. This thing's got an ST19 in it, a seagull. Will Laurier be around in 10, 15, 20 years? I hope so. But this thing's not going to go up in price, I don't think. I mean, they're still holding their price now when you buy them, but it's, microbrands. I know personally some people that own microbrands, and I just, put my hat off to them. If I wore hats, I would take it off to them, because
Yes.
it's
Where
bloody hard work.
you mean where their entire collection is like micro brands,
No, no,
or
no. As in people that make
oh,
microbrands.
actually own the
So
company?
yes, so yeah,
Oh
the
yeah.
the
Oh yeah.
fight they have to go through to get the right stuff that they want. If it's
Yes.
bespoke, and then if it's bespoke, anything bespoke, and then the money goes up, and then you put it on Kickstarter, and then people aren't really loving this part where we change it, and the price goes up again, and it's I don't know if I'd have any hair left on
Yeah,
the head,
I know.
mate.
So yeah, no, yeah, you're 100% right. So when they talk about like Rolex, and I know you've heard this before, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. If the Rolex Submariner was not that good of a watch, why is it the most copied? Every homage, a huge percentage of the homage you see out there are Submariners.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I can't even count how many companies off the top of my head right now make a Submariner homage.
Yeah.
And they're probably some of their best sellers.
Mm.
So
It has to do with the fashion and the style and the status of it, because if it was just down to watches
mhm.
and dive watches, then we'd have a lot of Black Power 50 fathoms. We would have those watches. So the downfall of Rolex's success comes this homage level and stuff. But I mean, that's why if you try and think of a homage watch that's of a Black Power 50 fathoms, I don't think you can,
Right.
because they're not sexy enough. They're just not
Right.
sexy enough, you know. But I reckon if they did, I might come up with a micro brand that just does Black Band
There
50
you go.
fathoms, mate. Yeah, might do that. I mean, the one thing with homage brands is it don't matter if we get knocked, you know, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's not my design. It's not my design.
Right.
You know, and someone's going to like it, you know. What annoys me, Matt, is how good some of these blooming homages are. You know, they are really good,
Yeah,
as in specifications you get. And if you put them up against the likes of Seiko and Hamilton, maybe not how Hamilton are very good, but Seiko for £300, £400. If you get a homage watch that's £300, you know, it's blooming good compared to a Seiko for £300. But it's whether you want to go that route or you go original, isn't it? It's tough.
it is. And I know people that knowing, speaking of Seiko, some of the issues that Seiko has with the misaligned chapter rings and bezels and folded over bracelets, depending on the model, will still go with Seiko.
Yeah.
I have people I've spoke to, I say at work, because that's where, you know, talk to that aren't really watch people. They have a watch.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, you would be much better. I say, you will get so much more value for money if you were to get, you know, a micro brand A, whatever it is, Zelos, or one of those. What? Never heard of them. I've had some people go, I've never, what's a micro brand? What's a micro brand? I've never heard of micro brand. I was like, it's kind of like micro brews. Remember micro beers back in the day when there's all those small breweries popping up? Same type of thing. And I've never heard of that. So,
you're absolutely right. And I, being a musician, I think of covers when a band covers another band. So you said who covered Live and Let Die? Matt, who was it?
Guns N' Roses.
Guns N' Roses. See that might be a really good cover, and it probably is, because Live and Let Die. He's got a voice like that. Yeah, like this, right. And you've got, what's his name with the guitar? Slash. I mean, it's gonna be. How
do you get a better rock and roll name than that?
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I don't know what his mum was thinking when she, I'm gonna name him Slash.
That's right.
Yeah. So, but if you take it as in covers, I would always go with the original song. I would always go with the original. And what makes me laugh is if I was to cover a Beatles song right now, I would have to pay royalties. I probably couldn't do it. I'd probably be sued for doing it. If I was making money putting out a song to sell that was a Beatles song, I would be sued for that. Because
if you put it on your channel, the video would be.
Oh, well, yeah. There you go. So why the hell does Rolex not copyright the damn cases? Why? It's weird, isn't it?
I don't. That's a question.
Is it because Rolex copied Black Band a little bit before, and then you're getting into dirty waters, misty waters, foggy waters, and then and then we don't know who's copying who. Then
right.
It's weird. It's really weird. But I mean, if I was to cover someone's song, I would have to pay royalties for it, And if you're paying £50 for a sapphire crystal, NH35 movement, stainless steel all over, decent bezel, probably ceramic bezel, where's their profit come? How do they afford to make these things? It makes me.
I don't know. But that's
I think they get raccoons to make it,
yeah,
Matt, or some sort of animal to
yeah.
put in to make them, because it's unbelievable.
I can't believe how cheap they make them sometimes. Miguel's in the house from SoCal, watching.
Miguel, here he is.
Good evening, guys. Watching all the way from Washington, USA. Is that Washington D.C. or Washington State? Because I used to
Ooh,
live in Washington State too. That's
I
way
didn't know that was a different thing, Matt.
It is.
Is it?
It is. It is.
Wow.
Washington State is way over on the west coast of the United States, and Washington D.C. is basically just a city, kind of squished in between Maryland and
Really?
Virginia on the East Coast. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Love it. Love it.
You know, so yeah, it's maybe they tried to. I don't know. Maybe Rolex tried to copyright it, but the court said, like you can't copy a style. I guess like a tire is a tire, a tire. You can't have a company say
That's
we're
true.
copyrighting a wheel or a tire, because everybody, maybe they did. I don't know. But you make a good point, because in other industries, you could not, if you took it for cars, you can't just make a Lamborghini and exactly like that.
I mean,
And
I know that
on it.
Average Joe has talked about it before, but you do have some watch company, some car companies try and copy maybe similar shape-ish and make it look a little bit like,
Yeah, you can't an homage, a car homage.
but not a complete aesthetics with your eyeballs, a complete copy. It's just ridiculous. And you really, if you think about it, you are only a brand on that dial away from it being a fake Rolex. You take the brand off, you stick Rolex on it, and there's your fake Rolex, everyone.
Some of them even I dropped a video of the L'Oreal. I couldn't even find out what model it was. So I just called it like an ice blue dial watch. And it has written on there. And when I do the full review, I'll zoom and show the whole thing. But it has like the same thing as this certified chronometer.
Yeah. I had the black one. Yeah, I had chronometer certified on it as well.
I'm like, what? No, it's not.
So surely must be taken from the same factory, as this box of watches goes to L'Oreal, this box of boxes goes to the stamper with the Rolex stamp. You take those ones and you take the L'Oreal. It must be that shady. It must be.
I think a lot of those watches come out of the same factory, because you can, like you said, you see very similar production, or styling, and they just switch a dial out or something like that.
I mean, I love if a brand is passionate about a certain reference, like the Willard reference, hadn't come out for a long time, and I quite like the idea of someone. Oh, well, I love that reference to bring it out. I mean, there's something about that I do like. It's like the Black Bay 58 up there. This the picture up here is my favorite homage watch, because it's Tudor making a Submariner that has got all the best bits from the last 80, 90 years. It was 60, no, it was 50, 54, 55, but the last 50 years. And they put it into that. Snowflake hands were in the 70s. You've got the Submariner indices. You've got the big crown from 56. All that sort of stuff. But it also references a 58 Tudor Submariner. But I love that. I love that kind of homage, and that's what a brand like L'Oreal does so well. Is that there's style cues from all the best watches from the last 50 years, but they've made something their own. They've made something different, and that's what I love. That's what I love, and that's a true homage. If it's something's cloned with a different brand on it, it's got to be a clomage.
Yes,
gotta be a clomage.
Oh, Random Rob's in here.
Random Rob, here he is.
What's up?
He's there. He's there. I'll give a Random Rob shout out. Let's just show your hands, everyone. Show your hands, and I'll give a. Hang on. Got to give one of these.
Ice Willow Cum wants us to give him a shout out. Oh yeah, Random Rob's got one of those.
There you go, Random Rob. That was your fault, Random Rob. I had to have one after watching your shows.
That's awesome. We were just talking earlier on. We were talking about his channel and how we like his style. He's just different than a lot of the other channels, and it gives him the opportunity to knock out 3-4 videos a day. I could never keep up. Oh,
That's
man.
cool.
No, but I think you're right. If you take is it truly an homage if you're taking this design feature from this watch and that design and that design and slapping it together into your own thing, like you said? Because I think everything, whether it comes to, we keep going back to cars, but cars are a popular thing, guitars, whatever the product is you want, you can only I mean, cars have 4 wheels and a body and a steering wheel and an engine.
Exactly.
And a trunk, so you can only switch it up so much.
Yeah.
Before people start going, that's just an homage. That's just, watches look a lot the same. They got a bracelet, they got the you know, you got round, you got square, you got
Well, and brands do take advantage of that. You know, they'll take advantage of that. But watch guys like us will know that sort of stuff a bit more. I just like the idea. Listen, if we're being completely honest, there's not much room for a mechanical watch in today's modern society.
Oh, 100%.
You know, there's not.
Story.
And the best, and I love a mechanical watch. I love the symbolism. I love the the engineering, but the duality between me and a piece of machinery that will not work either without me moving or
without your input.
Yes. And I love that. And the best ones are the ones that were made in the 50s and 60s. Okay, so a mechanical watch is a outdated piece of machinery. So why not bring back the style cues from the 50s and 60s when these things were really important to people's lives? And this is why we love. This is why field watches. This is why I love military watches, because back in the day, this had to be blooming good for timekeeping and everything else, and it was your best friend. A watch was your companion, and it means it means something different now with the Apple Watch and the Fitbit and all this thing, but I love that purest
just luxury items. They're not necessary anymore. So it's because everybody says that doesn't wear a watch. I got my phone. That's what I hear all the time. Well, what? I got a phone. You spend how much on a watch? My phone tells me time, and I'm like, well, you don't get it then. You just don't. But I'm the same as you. It's almost with mechanical watches, especially. It's almost an emotional. There's an emotional aspect to it. As far as I love watching videos of of watch factories with the people there just looking at it. And I'm going, and I appreciate it because I go, with these fingers, it's amazing. I can do I could never take those. I'd be dropped. Hell, I can't even see now.
God.
So,
and
the fact that a human being had to design the movement, right? But then they also had to design the machinery to make the movement. And all the little pieces and grow the rubies and that whole thing. And whereas the Apple Watch, it's kind of like, it's like an iPhone or something. I don't know. It doesn't have a soul. It's like a soul to me or something.
I mean, so when we wear a mechanical watch, everyone, we are showing respect. We're showing respect to the humans that have, passed us. The man's feat of making this sort of thing, micro technology in the 20s, and it's ridiculous, Matt, if you think about, wearing a watch, making a mechanical watch in the 20s and the 30s and the 40s. Oh my God. It's just truly the steady hand, the machinery even back then is just crazy good, I mean, I had an epiphany back when I got given an Apple Watch 7 years ago, and then it was outdated and the software weren't working on it anymore. And I thought, I need to buy a new one. So buying a new one for £500, which is $600-700 for you. Will this $600 or $700 will this depreciate in the next 3 years? Hell yes, because the software's not going to work on it. It probably won't turn on anymore. And you've just got this scrap metal thing that's not going to work anymore. Whereas if I paid £500 for this mechanical ST19 movement, if I get it serviced maybe every 7-8 years, I can pass this down. I can pass this down that touched my flesh to my future great grandchildren, and have a lineage of a mad watch collector of great grandfather Edmonds.
It'll
He had
still
a piece
working.
of me.
Yeah.
exactly. Still work. Not this plastic little bit that just doesn't work anymore. So
No, that's
yeah.
100%. So hearing you say pound, I have a question for you. Okay, what, and I know it means money, but what does quid mean? When they're like, it's 30, 40 quid. Is that just like
Pound.
a slang
Pound.
term
Yeah.
for,
Yeah.
okay.
But it's like you and bucks. 50
Bucks. That's what I
bucks.
thought. That's what I
Yeah.
thought it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
like
okay.
30 quid,
It's
10 quid, 10 quid. I don't know where it comes from. Yeah, 30 quid. 30 quid,
No,
10
but
quid.
SoCal, it's not about telling the time. It's about the romantic appeal, about giving life a little machine. Yeah, it is. It's also the idea, because if you take it completely from a operational or a technical standpoint, a $10 Casio F91W keeps better time than this Rolex, than all those watches. They do, because they'll lose sometimes some of those little
30
quartz rods.
seconds a month. 30 seconds a month. You know.
So some of the even higher end ones
Yeah.
will do 5-10 seconds a month or whatever.
I mean, but you're absolutely right. But I mean, you've got to give kudos to Casio and all that sort. It's just crazy, isn't
awesome.
it?
It's great.
You know, a quartz crystal.
Yeah.
A quartz crystal. What is this, sort of like alien technology to power a watch? It's crazy stuff. And the atomic multi-band stuff, and it's just crazy.
And then they keep. I'll tell you what I'm thinking. I'm taking a fancy to is that spring drive. I want to see one of those.
Hoping to have one of them soon.
Snowflakes with a spring drive. That, I mean, the sweep on that hand is like water. It just
is amazing. And then the quartz side regulates it, which is just unbelievable. I mean, trust the Japanese to make a symbiotic like that. It's just it's unbelievable.
I'm laughing because I think my wife hears me talk about stuff like that. Her face looks like this. But I wouldn't even see my wife's face. It would be deep in a magazine or a book or something. I'm like, but honey, look at the sweep, the swing, the spring dive. She's like,
oh yeah,
okay, I don't get it. And I'm like, you don't get it. That's why I talk to these guys. They get it.
I'll tell you what you do is, like my wife is like my Seagull ST19, my 1963 that costs less than $200.
Yes.
Probably less than $200. Yeah, well, probably less than $200 where you are, but with a display case back, it's just unbelievable. And you know, anyone that doesn't know watches can still appreciate that these were people that put these things together. You know, well, even a cheaper thing like that.
Russell, a lot of people have no clue even between quartz and automatic. I had to explain to my wife the other night. I did a video, a Longines. She wanted a Longines Grand Classique. And she specifically, well, what's the difference? And I explained, you know, quartz takes a battery, and she's like, I just want to be able to pick it up and put it, and it's working. And I'm like, well, then you want a quartz then, because unless you wear it a lot, if you don't wear it a lot, had to go through the whole thing, explain to her. She had no clue, because every watch she had owned was either a quartz watch, and it was just a watch, and they take batteries. That's all she knew, or the Apple Watch. So,
Mr. America, whoa, he's just bought something special. He has just bought something special there. What is the size of that, Mr. America? Is that a big boy? You got a big wrist on you. I do love Oris, and I'm hopefully going to have an Oris with the 400 caliber in soon.
Peter C said 2 countries separated by a common language. Yes, but if they would just learn to speak proper English, it would.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll agree on that. Yeah.
Yes.
A 7-inch wrist. Oh, that's what's 43.5 mil. Yeah, it's got the integrated lugs on that Oris Aquis. I do like an Oris Aquis. The only thing, what puts me off a little bit, it's a little bit too modern looking. Just a little bit, just a tad.
You know, so I held one in my hand. We went to an AD, and I held one in my hand, and I got to say, I don't know, Russ, they just don't do anything for me. It is. Yeah. I respect what they're doing.
Yeah.
But for some of it, it's, I don't know. To me, Oris seems like they're in a kind of a little bit of a weird position there, where you could almost step it up to a Breitling, or some people, even Tag Heuer, as much as people will hate them, have a better brand recognition or name recognition than Oris. A lot of watch, not super watch, but a lot of people that are semi into watch have never heard of Oris.
I completely agree, because Oris does sell in the windows.
Yes.
of our jewelry stores.
Uh-huh.
You know, and my family don't know who Oris is.
Right.
Friends of mine don't know who Oris is, and yet they're still at the face of the jewelry stores. You know,
Yes, sir.
the watch stores, and they just brush past them because of the marketing and advertising from Tag Heuer and stuff like that.
Rolex.
Rolex,
Rolex.
and you know, and they go to the Chanel or they go to the
Yeah.
Armani watches.
Yeah.
But yeah, they don't. Yeah, it's funny. I like Oris. I like what they're doing. They are one of those. They're a bridge between, you know, your Breitlings, like you said, and your Omegas and things like that. And they're a bridge for the Tissots
Yes.
and
Perfect.
you
Yes.
know, Frederic Constance
Mhm.
and then you go up to Oris. I love the pointed date. I'd love to own a brass with the green dial and the little red pointed date. I did try on a 1965, an Oris 65, but
Mhm.
I was really put off by the bezel. The bezel just I love a bezel, and the click was just too loose for me. And I tried it on three of them because I thought, no, that can't be right. So
Right.
I
Yeah.
tried it on three of them, and it was not good. Saying that though, I mean, it's an Oris 65. Had I had an Oris actual 1965 diver, it probably even wouldn't be a ratchet back in those days. But yeah, I that watch above me,
Mhm.
that is probably the best bezel I've ever tried.
Now,
And
the Black
I'm
50.
gonna put that over a Submariner for me, Matt.
What? Blasphemy. How dare you, sir? So wait, is it 60 click? Is that one?
Yes,
Yes. So like
and
the
I
regular Black Bay.
yes, and I think because it's only 60 click, you get to feel the ratchets a little bit more. You get to feel the clicks, and
Yeah.
this thing uses ball bearings, some sort of system.
Yes.
But you know, most military watches that I've handled have 60 clicks,
Mhm.
and yeah, I just wonder where the 120 came from. Obviously, because it halves the time you've got
That's
30s,
yeah. I
which is
guess some
really good.
people. I think watch people are kind of anal anyway. They have OCD, and if it's
Yeah,
in between the clicks, they're like, I can't. And you
yeah,
know. But
absolutely.
it doesn't bother. But my regular Black Bay 41, it fantastic 60 click.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
snap right into place. It's very positive.
yeah.
It's beautiful. I think the now is your Black Bay 58. It's the black bezel, black face, or is it the blue bezel?
Yeah,
It's a blue.
it's
Okay.
it's the black one.
Uh,
I did a little video on comparing both of them, and I still go for the
that
black.
that blue's
Definitely.
fantastic, though, isn't it?
The blue is
It's beautiful.
yes, it's not as blingy as the one that you have on your wrist,
Yeah.
sir, but that is fancy. That is blooming fancy.
Yeah.
But it's an understated. It's a
Mhm.
cut. It's the color blue that pays homage to the blue divers of the 70s that worked with the Marine Nationale, the French.
Ah, yes.
French is a beautiful blue.
I'll tell you
Yeah.
which Black Bay I really like is that Harrods edition with the green bezel. The color.
Yes. Yeah,
That's
that's nice. That is
that's
very nice.
it is. All
Yeah,
right,
yeah, yeah.
so we're at an hour. Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Flew by, didn't it?
It did. It did. That's what happens when you have two completely awesome people. So it go yeah. So thanks for coming on the channel.
You're welcome, my friend, and thanks for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's been a absolute pleasure, sir.
No worries.
And we'll see you next time, guys. Take it easy. Thanks for showing up. Later,
Take care, team. Nice to see you.
guys.